other organizations that Majlis al-Shura represents. My name is Abdullah Akl. I am an organizer within our lifetime, as well as a community member, born and raised here in Brooklyn, specifically Bay Ridge. And my family made a living here as I grew up. And to be called an outside agitator by the NYPD, specifically by Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry, is only to tell us one thing, that Kaz Daughtry does not know this community. Yes. We are from this community. We know each and every single person that was arrested. We know why they were arrested, whether it was for their skin color, or for them saying La ilaha illallah, for them being Muslim, or for them being Arab, or for simply standing up against a genocide taking place in Gaza. It is clear to us that the NYPD does not stand with us. They stand on the opposite side of justice. They stand on the wrong side of history, and that includes the Deputy Commissioner Kaz Daughtry, that chooses to give orders during our rallies to attack organizers that are clearly visible wearing within our lifetime shirts and signs, and chooses to brutalize them into the street. And more organizers are going to speak about that brutality later on. But what's very clear to us, brothers and sisters, and to the members of the media that are joining us here today, that as members of the community are coming together, religious leaders and community leaders are coming together for this important moment, for commemorating 76 years of the ongoing catastrophe, we make it very clear that this is our neighborhood. These are our streets. This city is ours. And just like we can demand accountability for our tax dollars, we will demand accountability for where our tax dollars go locally as well as internationally. That while millions of dollars go to occupied Palestine to continue to brutalize our own people, New York as well is an occupied place.
That's right.
Occupied by the NYPD that continues to brutalize us throughout the streets of New York City, whether it is on the sidewalks, on top of trucks, or right on the second floor of that apartment building, where SRG took the liberty of walking in and getting close to an apartment ready to break in just for some kind of amplified sound. And this shows us one thing, that amplified sound is a bigger threat to the NYPD than a genocide that has killed over 40,000 people. That is a shame. And it's very clear to us that NYPD legal might need a legal lesson as well. That we know our Constitution rights more than they do. And even with this flawed Constitution, even with this flawed country that we are in today, we make it very clear that the roots of imperialism stretch from the United States all the way to occupied Palestine and all across the world. And it is our job here in the United States, being part of the diaspora, being children of immigrants, many of us with our parents have been displaced from these countries, it is our job to cut the tentacles of imperialism wherever they are.
Yes.
And that is our responsibility, brothers and sisters. And finally, it is important for us as members of the community to step up now more than ever. Step up at organizations, at protests, and anywhere it may come up, to stand up for a free Palestine from the river to the sea, because we will not allow them to dictate to us what our words mean to us. Intifada is our language, and we will continue to use it by the ways that we want to use it until Palestine is free from the river to the sea within our lifetime. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I'd like to introduce our next speaker, joining us as the Executive Director of the Mass Youth Center, one of the largest and oldest institutions here in New York City and actually all across the United States, that caters to hundreds, if not thousands, of youth every single year. I'd like to introduce Brother Malik Hassan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
May peace and blessings be upon you all. Sound like a fire foul? Okay. My name is Malik Hassan. I am the Executive Director of Muslim American Society Brooklyn. I'm here representing all of Mass New York and all of its 7 centers across New York. I'm going to read along a statement that was also signed by multiple organizations, including the Islamic Leadership Council of New York, CARE New York, Arab American Federation, ICNA, Islamic Society of Bay Ridge Community Development Center, and YM New York. On behalf of the community organizations that I've just mentioned, we strongly condemn NYPD's brutal attack on the Nakba Day rally in Bay Ridge on Saturday, May 18, 2024, organized by Within Our Lifetime. This annual rally was commemorating the 76th anniversary of the Nakba, the forceful expulsion of Palestinians from their homes by Zionist settlers in 1948. What had been a peaceful, recurring, communal gathering in Bayridge, New York City's largest Arab and Palestinian community, turned into an unprecedented violent display in this neighborhood of repression by police against peaceful Nakba Day rally attendees, leaving dozens of young men, women, and children injured and traumatized. Some protesters even sustained bloody injuries, and dozens were arrested in altercations incited by the NYPD. The violent crackdown on rally attendees was clearly premeditated by the IDF-trained NYPD to suppress pro-Palestinian advocacy in violation of protected speech of all Americans that all Americans are entitled to. Police arrived in droves hours before the rally to install barricades, to also park corrections buses and set up choke points to aggravate rally attendees. Officers in high rank and white shirts were chasing down youth, smiling and pepper spraying them and punching them on the ground. Local elected officials have released statements describing the Nakba Day NYPD response as aggressive and unfounded. This aggression by the NYPD in Bayridge follows months of targeted, brutal, and retaliatory repression by the NYPD towards anti-genocide protesters, including during last week's Nakba Day rally at the Barclays Center and the Gaza Solidarity encampments on college campuses across the city. It has led to hundreds of arrests of young people, of our own youth at mass in just the past few weeks. Such police brutality against anti-genocide protesters have been enabled by New York City Mayor Eric Adams and corporate billionaires' reported attempts to explicitly pressure the mayor to ramp up police aggression against peaceful protesters. Most disturbingly, a large number of the aggravating officers were seemingly Muslim and Arab, who appeared to smile and giggle as they unleashed, beat, and pepper sprayed rally attendees. We condemn their acts of unleashing violence onto who they claim to be protecting as their own people. We see them actively participating or silently sitting by and brutalizing our own people, including minors, youth, and hijabi Muslim girls. The deployment The deployment of Muslim NYPD officers is not coincidental. It appears to be a deliberate strategy to pit community members against each other, using officers who look like the protesters to enforce repressive measures. We all know of the interconnected nation of the brutality by the NYPD and the brutality of the IDF in Israel. We know of the interconnected nature of the IDF-trained NYPD and the exchange of weapons and the exchange of tactics and the exchange of a mutually beneficial relationship of targeting and beating people of color and Palestinians.
Shame!
For too long, Muslim officers have been used as the NYPD's fodder to do their dirty work of surveilling and secretizing Muslim communities. And for us, we say no more.
No more!
Finally, we conclude the NYPD's violent response to Nakba Day attendees. And in particular, we condemn the Muslim and Arab officers who seemingly took pleasure in violently dispersing rally attendees. Many of those were Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim. We demand an end to the NYPD impunity that Mayor Eric Adams has maliciously constructed to protect his political interests, making a mockery of justice and accountability. We demand legal consequences against Mayor Adams and the NYPD for the police response to the anti-genocide protests leading up to and on Nakba Day. We call on the Muslim, Arab, South Asian, and all communities who believe in justice to carefully reconsider any coordination or any collaboration with the NYPD and its subsidiary organizations until there is real accountability for this transgressive, systemic, and illegal police violence. From the river to the sea!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
Palestine will be free!
From the sea to the river!
From the sea to the river!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Palestine will live forever!
Thank you.
Thank you.
quickly our community comes together to protect and nourish one another. We just had a community member from Al-Aqsa Bakery, Al-Aqsa, which is in Palestine, passing out falafel and hummus to all the folks who are here as part of the press conference. It shows how tight-knit our community is and how we always have each other's backs. Whether you are Palestinian or not, if you stand up for Palestine, you may not be Palestinian by blood, but you are Palestinian in your heart. And to that, I would like to invite our amazing next speaker. They are a long-time member of Within Our Lifetime, have been organizing with us for almost as long as we've been an organization, and one of the folks that were brutally arrested in those viral clips that you have seen getting punched repeatedly while on the ground.